So you've got a very interesting health story, which we'd like to hear about, and the journey you kind of went through and the things you had to do to get to where you are now. So I guess I'll let you kind of start at the beginning with when you first kind of started getting health issues, whether it was from a reasonably young age.
So I began to get some forms of symptoms and just feeling not good when I was around 15. And that was due to, I got mononucleosis. And before I completely healed from that, I traveled and got a bit of radiation poisoning. So radiation really affects your thyroid. Apart from everything else in your body, it really affects your thyroid. So that kind of killed my thyroid for a while. And just after a week of traveling, I was always healthy, thin. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and we ate like a kind of paleo diet. So I was always healthy, didn't really have any conditions. And after a week of traveling and having that radiation poisoning, my body just blew up in size. And for me, that was pretty devastating since I was training in ballet. So we're always looking at ourselves. We're constantly wearing skin tight clothing, and you always see yourself, and it's a huge thing. You have to look the part as well. So that was very devastating for me at the time. And that's when it all kind of began. And then when I came back from that trip of getting that, I was living alone at the age of 15. So I wasn't properly eating as well. So that didn't help because I thought it was just a weight gain issue. And so I had, overexertion and exercising since I was living alone, as well as not eating enough and getting the proper nutrients and things. So after that year, that was in 2018. So in the beginning of 2019, I had some blood tests done, and I had heavy metal poisoning, which was iron, and I was severely dehydrated, which I had heard somewhere that you shouldn't drink water, or you should reduce it so that you're less inflamed. So I took that a bit too much, and that caused severe dehydration. So after feeling very frustrated, I asked my mom what I could do dietary wise, because I just thought it was a diet problem. And she suggested the keto diet. So I did that for about 2 weeks and saw huge results. I remember feeling very bloated just because I was consuming a lot of vegetables. And that obviously just wasn't working for me at the time or now. And then eventually we got Sean Baker recommended on YouTube. So then her and I tried carnivore for, I think, around 2.5 months, but we didn't do enough research into it. So we were eating a lot of processed meats, not enough fats, and we weren't able to source our meat properly. So I wasn't feeling my best on that. And since then, so that was the beginning of 2019 until the beginning of 2022, I was mostly animal based, just eating some chocolate and sauces and a lot of dairy products. And that was basically it. But during that time, so throughout all of 2020 and then 2021, and then a bit of 2022 and 2023, I had mold poisoning, which I originally got from my ballet school since it was in a poorer country. And that caused a lot of issues such as bunions, which was kind of like gout, I guess. A lot of joint pain. I eventually got anemia, so the opposite of the iron overload. And then I got depression, severe fatigue. Later on, parasites, which caused huge skin rashes, which was really just devastating to be overweight with the mold poisoning, depressed, fatigued, and then to have a skin issue on top of that was just not a fun time. So all of those things I've been able to heal with a carnivore diet. As well as some alternative therapies. So, yeah.
Wow. And that's a lot to have gone through. And like you said, I mean, you were a teenage girl, like things with weight, things with your skin, there's not a worse time of your life to happen than as a teenage girl, really, where appearance is everything. Yeah. And so with the radiation poisoning, where were you traveling to get that?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on the person, but I've done some research on it. And depending on the type of security scanners that you go through in airports, they can affect people differently. So I must just be a lot more sensitive to that compared to other people. So that was where I initially got it. There was not the typical scanner, which is just the boxing you walk through, but a different one where it like went all around you, and it was like a couple minutes worth of radiation to get the scan. And then more so recently in 2022 and a bit of 2021 and 2023 even, I was living in Serbia with my mom, and NATO 20 years ago bombed them with depleted uranium. So that is a lot more intense radiation poisoning compared to just your airport scanner, of course. So that's where I got a lot more radiation poisoning more so recently, and that caused a lot of issues. I had my hair was falling out excessively, so I'm still regrowing that. I got all this extreme bruising all over my legs, which was just like dots. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it's vitamin C because carnivore doesn't have enough vitamin C. And I was taking a supplement and I was dosing it a lot. So I was taking a lot of it and it didn't change anything. And it wasn't until I did a radiation detox that it got rid of that. And I don't even bother to take a vitamin C supplement anymore. So it was not that. But yeah, those were the two radiation exposures I've had.